Hello, Mariana. Good afternoon.
Hello, Marina. Good afternoon.
Hello, Ana Sofia. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Okay, let's begin. As always, we are going to start with the reading exercises. The same thing as we have been working. And I'm going to let you read the 3 paragraphs. And this time, also try to identify the line where you find the answer. So go ahead and read paragraphs from 1, 2, and 3, and then we check answers. You can start. Hello, Ana Paula. Good afternoon. Okay, so what we're doing is you're reading the, wait, Norma is arriving, it's logging in. So, hello, Norma. What we're doing right now is we're beginning with the first part, reading. So you are going to read the 3 paragraphs, and after reading the 3 paragraphs, we're going to check answers. Questions from 1 to 5. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes, and then we check. Hello, Selene. We are doing the reading part in 2 more minutes. You are going to tell me the answers from 1 to 5 from these 3 paragraphs.
Hi, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Number 1. And let's see. Mariana, please help me with question number 1. Read it and then tell us the answer.
Of course. What newsworthy event took place in 2011? I chose letter D and paragraph 1, line 2. Petrol bombs were thrown, buildings and vehicles destroyed, and shops looted.
Exactly, that's letter D. There was a wave of public disorder across England. As I have been telling you since Monday, always pay attention and make sure of the words. Make sure that you got the words and that you identify the synonyms, because like it says here, it doesn't say the same words as in the paragraph, but you could infer by the information, by the words, by the context that in fact it's letter D, the answer. Very good, Mariana. Now please, Ana Sofia, with number 2.
Number 2, I choose letter B. He changed his holiday plans. And I found it on paragraph 2, line 2.
Very good. So it's letter B, that it says changed his holiday plans, and he immediately recognized several people and cut his holiday short. So very different, but at the same time, it talks about the same thing. Very, very good. Ana Paola, number 3, please.
How did Gary Collins manage to identify so many rioters? I chose C. He has an exceptional memory for faces.
In which paragraph did you find the answer?
It was Collins is not an ordinary police officer. Soon after joining the police force, he realized he had a special gift. After seeing a face briefly, he could remember it in detail years later.
Yes, very good. This is a very interesting answer. Let's analyze it. Notice he has an exceptional memory for faces. And notice how they say it in the reading. And after seeing, he realized he had a special gift. After seeing a vase briefly, he could remember it in detail years later. So in the answer, all those sentences or those words are summarized into exceptional memory for faces. So instead of saying a special gift after seeing a vase for a short period of time, he can remember the face for years after that. So that is the same answer, but with different words. Excellent. Now, Norma, please help me with number 4.
I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's letter C. No, it's not letter C, because it says that prosopag that word. No,
prosopagnosia. So if it's not letter C, which one is it? What is your second choice?
Letter B. We can infer that the 97%, because it says 1 or 2% has this blindness.
Blindness.
And the other 1 or 2% are exceptionally good at it. So the rest is 97%, but it doesn't say.
No, actually, well, let's see. If anyone else chose a different answer?
I chose B, but with another line on the paragraph.
B, okay. Actually, it's letter D. Why? Let's see. It's letter D. Let's analyze the question, and it says, which of the statements about the population is not true? Not true, okay? That it's false. So it's in paragraph 3. And let's take a look at the parts. Well, it's talking about the percentages. So it starts here. This term was first used in 2009 when a study estimated that 2% of the population have severe problems recognizing faces, called prosopagnosia. Well, in English, prosopagnosia, or face blindness. And another 1-2% are exceptionally good at it. They can recall up to 95% of the faces they see, whereas an average person remember about 20%. So letter D says about 2% have a near perfect memory for faces. and it doesn't say in the reading. So what we cannot find in the reading, that it's the answer, because the statement that it's not true. So, and notice it's tricky because it says are exceptionally good at it, but notice that here it says near perfect memory. So even though it's similar, it doesn't say exactly that. And it's not true. Because besides, it says between 1 and 2%. So those type of questions are very, very tricky. Very.
May I interrupt?
Yes.
But it says they can recall up to 95%. That's why I get confused. Because letter B, no. Letter A and D are similar. So 95% is almost perfect. So,
yes, it's a, sorry. Were you going to say something?
No, that's it.
Okay. Yes, that's is what I was saying. It's really confused. And just with one word, the meaning can change completely. So yes, like I was saying, this is very, very tricky. It's a very tricky question and an answer because of the percentages and the amount of people that, or not the percentage, sorry, that they say. Yes, it says near perfect memory, and another are exceptionally good at it. So exceptionally good at it, it's like they saying that they are perfect at it. And here it's saying near perfect. It's like 99% perfect in here. And in here they're saying 100%. So that's why it's, like you say, it's difficult because it's almost the same thing. But what I mean is that there are these type of questions where you need to think a lot and analyze very, very much about quantities and what it says. So yes, it's exactly this is why we have this question, because it's very difficult. And just for one word, like per near changes everything. And here it says exceptionally good at it, but near changes it, makes it like 99% perfect, and exceptionally good makes it 100%, just for 1%. So yes, it's a little confusing. Next, let's see who I have here next. Selene, please help me with number 5.
Okay, I can read it, but I couldn't find the answer yet. I mean, I don't have the answer.
Okay, no worries. I know you arrive a little later. Okay, we're going to start again with Mariana, number 5. Please read the question and then the answer.
I'm not really sure if make Neville.
So yes.
Yes. Okay. Letter C, paragraph 1, line 5. I think so.
Letter, which one?
C, letter C.
Letter C. Letter C. Paragraph
1, line 5.
Paragraph 1, line 5. Okay, let's analyze it.
2, 3, 4. I think it's 4. I'm sorry.
Paragraph. Line 4.
Yes,
Okay.
line 4.
Okay. So the question says, Mick Neville thought there was a problem with CCTV because, so in paragraph number 1 says, petrol bombs were thrown, buildings and vehicles destroyed, and shops looted. Many of the rioters were caught on CCTV cameras, but most of the images were poor and the perpetrators had covered their faces. But Neville, where is Mick?
But who's him?
That's what I'm looking, exactly.
I was confused about that one. I think it's like in the next paragraph.
Did anyone choose another answer besides C? Maybe, well, A, B, or D? Okay, McNeville. Let's see. Where is McNeville? Even for the special he well, it doesn't say anything.
Nowhere.
You know what? Maybe it's a typo. Instead of McNeville, maybe they refer to Gary Collins. So yeah, it was a typo, or well, not a typo, a mistake. So let's change Gary Collins. No, better. McNeville to Gary Collins, okay? So I'm gonna change it and let's see. There it is, okay. McNeville.
I think that Mike could be the author, but it doesn't say.
Could be, right? Collins. Let's see how it turns out. Gary Collins, let's say that he's the one that thought there was a problem. So Gary Collins, an off-duty policeman, was watching the London riots on TV. He immediately recognized several people and cut his holiday short to help with identification. He ended up spending 6 months going through the CCTV film and managed to identify 190 people, many from their eyes alone. His help was of a decisive importance in the investigation. So I think here we have an answer, assuming that instead of McNeville, it's Gary Collins, okay? Assuming now. Let's underline this part. He's white. So let's see this part. And according to the answer key, number 5, it's letter B. Look, it's according to the answers now. Let's see if it works as in Gary Collins. So letter B, it was hard to identify criminals from the film. So if it says that he ended up spending 6 months through the CCTV, and from all those 6 months, he identified 190 people, many from their eyes alone, just for many from their eyes alone. So there was a problem in CCTV because it was hard to identify criminals from the film, according to the answer key. Do you think this is correct or not? What do you think? Correct or not?
It will be either B or C, because they also talk about like the images were poor, so they were poor quality in the film. But also like it was hard to identify the criminals because if they're only watching their eyes and the quality is poor, so it could be either of them.
So yes, I think yes, could be either B or C. Yeah, so let's leave it like that, between B or C. Now, next part. This is a little longer. We have 4 paragraphs. So in this one, I'm gonna let you 5 minutes to read it, and then the same thing, we check and analyze answers, okay? You can start, and in 5 minutes, we check.
Here is Neville's in paragraph 5.
Oh my
Neville's
God.
unit has changed all of that.
Yes. Oh, that's true. Yes. Okay, now it changes everything. But anyway, what you said, it's still correct. So it's fine. Okay. Selene, please read question number 6.
Yeah. The super recognizers unit is impressive because I think it's, well, I'm between C and B and C.
Between B and C. Okay. Ana Sofia, Norma, Mariana, or Ana Paola, which one did you choose?
A.
A.
I'm between A and B.
A and B.
It is, it says it is the first of its kind in the world. Paragraph 4, line 2.
Paragraph 4, line 2. Police set up a super recognizing to 2015 after calling 6 separate could be useful. And which answer do you think is based on the line that you said that you found it? Which letter is it?
A.
Letter A. It is unique to the world. Okay, but from the answers, the one that you mentioned the most, well, were 2 people who matched in letter B. And according to the answer key, it's letter B. Let's see why. Let's analyze this. So super recognizer unit is impressive because, so according to the answer key, it says that it's letter B. So 6 officers have made as many identifications as around 10,000 of their colleagues. So, London's Lieutenant by recognizes after calling success proven it to be useful. It's the first of its kind in the world. Detective Inspector Neville, when he's found, realized there was a problem with the, you know what, this could be answered from letter from the other ones. And if it was not used efficiently in the course, and okay, now something has changed after that. So, according again to this, it's letter B, but also can be letter A, like you said, because it is unique to the world. So I think also
I think another sign, like to find the answer, is because it mentions that on paragraph 5 on line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it mentions this is impressive considering, I mean, all that mentioned says that it's impressive considering the 32 police officers in the city. I think that's another like sign for the answer.
impressive.
Yeah, me too. I was doubting because of the number of colleagues, but yeah, I chose that one too because of this is impressive, because when it mentions that it's unique to the world, it's just like a fact, not like they don't mention like it was impressive. They just say it like a fact. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I chose B because of impressive. That's why I was like doubting between A and B.
Yes, remember, we saw it yesterday, well, since Monday, no, since Tuesday, that never choose answers on opinions. And also on readings, is, well, obviously, except if it's a letter, like a personal letter, the readings are objective. They do not include opinion. So using adjectives can be an opinion. So by saying it's impressive, where does it say? This is impressive, considering that this can sound like an opinion. So that can affect the objectiveness of that text. So if we take into consideration that advice or recommendation or tip to not answer with opinions, we can sort that one out, letter A, which makes it letter B, the correct answer. So again, very tricky. That's the point. to confuse. Okay, so it's normal that you get confused because again, that's the purpose of the multiple choice. So yes, letter B is correct. And as you said, something that can help us to identify the answer is this. Consider there are through 32,000 police officers in the city, and 6 officers have made as many identifications around 10,000 of their colleagues. I mean, again, it's not exactly the answer, but it has to do with the answer. Okay, now, Ana Sofia, help me with number 7, please.
Identification by super recognizers is used to, I think, is letter A, help the police conduct investigations effectively. And for me, the answer is on paragraph 6, line 4.
Super recognize on an evidence was super recognizer, but it is used to direct investigations. Again, here notice that we have synonyms: conduct, and where is it? Direct investigations. Direct investigations, conduct investigations. So they're using synonyms, not the exact word. So be careful with that. And very good. Yes, the answer is letter A. And Ana Paula, 8, please.
In paragraph 6, caught red-handed means I chose letter C, caught in the act of committing an offense.
It's like this expression that we have in Spanish.
Las manos en la masa.
Con las manos en la masa. And there's this, I don't know if it's English or Italian, because fraganti, no? Infraganti. Also, that's another way to say it. And yes, it's caught red-handed. It's the equivalent of manos en la masa, like cutting the criminal at the time they're committing the crime or the offense. Very good. So with this, we close for today the reading part. Now let's move on to the next skill, which is writing. Okay, we're going to do the same exercise we did yesterday, but with another type of letter. I know it's difficult, but again, don't worry, you're not going to do this exactly this on the exam. No, this is for you to identify the type of language, register, vocabulary that they use in this type of exams. And remember, if there's a word that you didn't know before, after we finish with this, you can write it on your glossary and look for the meaning. So this is what we did yesterday, the one of the review. Now, this is the other one, and it says, to put us in context, you recently read an article in an English newspaper asking for money-saving tips for young people who are just starting college. Write a letter to the newspaper outlining ways that students can look after their money. So, context. It's about an article that talks about saving money. So, terms that we might use: money, allowance, or saving money, asking for money, things like that. Words that have to do with money. So again, also other thing that might help you, it's the length of the lines. If it's short, that means it's a pronoun, like in here, for example, looks like it's a little short. So that, look here, this for sure, it's a pronoun. Sorry, it's a pronoun, it's a preposition. So also the length of the blanks can help us give us an idea of the word it might be out there. Also, it talks about jobs, talks about college, talks about prices, if something is cheap, if something is expensive, about like maybe, I forgot the name. medio tiempo in English, it's half time, no. Part-time jobs. Examples of part-time jobs, things like that, okay? So think of words that might be related to this type of text. Now, for this, I'm going to give you 10 minutes. If you don't finish, it's fine. Just try to do as much as you can. And after that, of course, we're going to check. So 10 minutes at 5:50, we're going to check.
Each line is a word?
Yes, each line is a word.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's see. Whoever has a word, you say it. Okay, so the first word, what do you think it is? What?
Would.
I would like. I said it. I would like.
Yes, I would like to respond to
Mhm.
your request for money saving tips for students.
Exactly. And in here?
As I see it, there are many things that students need to think ahead.
That student that is, very
That
good.
students need to think ahead.
To think about, or ahead too, actually can be, that a student needs to think about. Then, how
increase your income and how to reduce your, I don't know, that one I was like thinking about it, your outcomes.
very good. To reduce, exactly. To reduce.
Okay, good.
Yes. You're getting better at this than yesterday. Then getting a job.
A part-time job.
Part-time job. I are worthwhile. Is
really?
Really worthwhile. Yes, is really worthwhile. Is really worthwhile.
When you are young?
When you're young. When you're young. Not
often.
Often. Let's see. When you were young. When you're young. Not only does it bring money, but it will. Not only, but it will. Letter I, future employers. Will
improve.
Impress.
Impress.
Future employers. Find a job which
fits.
Preposition?
In
your schedule. MS offers Saturday jobs.
Most.
Many.
Most. Look, it also helps that how can these words are similar and we can use them in the same sentence. So also it also helps. Where we now live. Many shops offer Saturday jobs. Also could be most. It all depends on the context. Most shops or many shops offer Saturday jobs. WY?
Where you can get jobs at bars and restaurants.
Yes, where you can get jobs at bar restaurants. Future schedule.
It is while.
Very good. You can get or while, exactly. While you can get jobs at bars and restaurants in the evening. There
are also lots of hospitality jobs and something else, I don't know.
I wrote, there are lots of holiday jobs.
There are also lots of holiday jobs available in hotels, holiday camps, or farms. Secondly, you need to decrease what you spend. If you cook yourself, buy value products and avoid ready-made meals. Share cheap recipes with friends. You will save money on food and energy bills. If you buy food and cook in bulk, So get together with friends and share the cooking. When shopping for clothes and utensils, buy secondhand from markets or from online auction sites. Just don't get carried away. It's easy to spend a lot when things are cheap. Of course, you don't want to stop spending altogether or you will never have fun. So it's important to prioritize. Decide what's important to you, whether it's sports, travel, good food, nights out, or nice clothes, and put enough money aside for that. Then you can scrimp and save on the things that you consider less important. Comment, observation. Remember last class, the exercise we did was about a review of that the college was asking you to give a review on your experience there. Notice that in here, there are 0 contractions. And in here, we have contractions. Look. When you're young, it's. So why? Because this is different. In this, the context is different. It's just you responding informally. It's like an informal response to an article that you read in a newspaper. So the context here, it's not formal. So in there, notice the difference. In here, not contractions, and in this one. And here we have contractions. So that is something to pay attention to. So that is it for the writing part. Now let's move on to the use of English. And yesterday we stayed here. So this would be let's say number 1 for today. So we've been, no, we did it yesterday. Yes, sorry. It's prevent, avoids having just. Okay. This is the first one. Okay. So having, as we always do, remember, we read the question and you tell me the letter you think it is, and then we check at the end. So please read the first one, Mariana.
Having just back from his holidays, he ready to face the year afresh. Letter A, having just got back from his holidays, he was ready to face the year afresh.
Okay, letter A. Norma, number 2, please.
Identify the discourse maker in the following sentence. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, I'm completely fed up with this situation.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know what is a discourse maker.
Discourse marker.
Marker.
Comes from the word discourse, which means like a way of speaking. If you speak formally, if you speak informally, who you are addressing to, if you're addressing to an elderly, or apart from the conversation that tells us what you're talking about. Well, in this one, in this one, it's the answer can be, well, I'm gonna help you with that one. The answer can be, okay, as I was saying earlier, or can be between, so as I was. Anyone else, if you don't know, Norma, it's fine. Which do you think it is, A or B?
B.
B. Okay, anyone else?
I think it's A.
A.
Me too, I think it's A.
Letter A.
According with what you said, I think it's A.
Okay, interesting. So it's between A and which other one do you say? B?
B.
B, okay, between A and B. Okay, we're going to leave it like that, between A and B. And when we get to the answers, we're going to check. Now we stayed. It got moved. Okay, here it is.
5 en punto.
The next one, please, Selene. You're muted.
I think we're in the answer part.
Yes. No. Yes, we are. Guess I was saying later. Here it is. Saying, this one, the incredible atmosphere. Selena, you are muted. Or, okay, Ana Sofia, the incredible.
The incredible atmosphere was what I most enjoyed about the festival.
So letter
A.
Letter A. Number 4. Ana Paola.
And now that his boss is aware of his transgressions, he's really getting a spill of the beat. I don't know. Or a taste of his own medicine. I'm not sure, A or B.
A, okay, let's leave it A or B.
I think it's B.
B, okay, A or B. Next one. Send me a message, call me on the phone. Which one do you think it is?
A.
Not very yet, comment.
A.
Letter A, okay. Now number 6.
B.
B. 7. No. Yes, it's another one. It would be nice to have a room of A, B, or C.
It would be nice to have a room of your own, of her own.
It's the same one, isn't it?
Yes, I think
yeah.
so.
Okay, let's keep it then. He my dinner by the time I get home.
He will be preparing.
He will be preparing, letter C, okay. And there are 7 attempts to steal a trophy by next year. This is talking about the future. Notice that all of them have will. So what is
A. There will have been.
A.
A? Okay. Next one. Don't be afraid to press the pedal firmly. It shouldn't. That one is.
A.
It's A.
Okay. A.
It's A.
It's A. I think so too. It's tricky because and this type of words are called homophones. They sound the same. Break, break. They sound the same, but they're very different. They're completely different words, but they have the same. They are pronounced the same way, written differently, but they sound the same. Okay, so you say, and yes, letter A. And the last one, 10.
C.
C. Okay, now let's go to the answer part. Oh, wait, we have 2 more and then we are done with that. Okay, let's do this 2 more. 11, this will be 11, this will be 12. Okay.
When companies, B?
B, okay, you say B.
A.
A, okay, A or B. We're gonna leave it if it's A or B. And the last one, this one.
B.
B.
Okay, B. Now let's go through the answers. Send me a message, agreeable atmosphere, identify them. Let me just back from this holiday. This was number 1. And yes, you were, well, you said A, B, it's letter A. Got back from his holidays, he was ready. So it's letter A. Next one. No, sorry, you said A. Number 2 is the one that you said it was A or B. So it's letter A. Okay, as I was saying earlier, that's a discourse marker, like how you address or how you get back to the conversation. And it's letter A. Number 3 is letter A, and you said, letter A too, was the agreeable atmosphere was what I most enjoyed. Next one, letter A, well, you say it was between A or B, but it's A, and it's an idiomatic expression. Remember all these phrases that transmit the message, but what they say, it's on literally, it's a figurative way to say something. Like that this person was getting what they deserved. That's a taste of his own medicine. And send me a message, and you said letter A, or better yet. It's like saying, or even better. Call me on the phone. It's a synonym. Next, it will be nice to have a room of one's own. And it was repeated because if there was another one, it's gonna be again. And you say, yes, we'll have prepared. Is future perfect. We'll have prepared. So remember we use a present perfect to talk about something that we'll be starting in the future and continue, but in the future. And they continue, and in some time later on, it ends by the time this person gets home.
Question.
Yes.
There. Does it make sense, letter C?
He will be preparing my dinner by the time I get home. He will be preparing my dinner.
So
Could-
when I arrive home, the other person will be preparing, not finished, but doing
Yes,
that activity.
yes, it's correct not grammatically, no, but in semantics, like the meaning, it's correct because it can be understood. Yes, precisely what you said, that this person, by the time I get home, as soon as I get home, this person, it's gonna be preparing my dinner. But why it's not correct? Because will it's used for actions that are not that going to is the one that is for actions that are going to happen for sure. So in this case, if we look at the context, you are saying that this person is going to be doing, you're not 100% sure he will have prepared dinner by the time I get home. So what I mean is, in Spanish, yes, it's correct. Actually, we can say él estará preparando mi cena, but in English, grammatically, it's not correct. In a meaning, yes, it's understood, but grammatically, again, it's not correct. But like in an informal English, conversational could be correct. It's like when in Spanish we say, fuistes, comiste. It's not correct, but people understand what you are referring to. So that it's like a way to say it. And the better one is we'll have prepared, but we'll be preparing, let's say it's 60% correct, and this one will be 100% correct. And number 7. And no, the next one you say will have been letter A. You say letter A. There will have been 7 attempts to steal the trophy by next year. This is the future perfect. Have been as well as in here, we have prepare. It's the same, but notice that, well, prepare is regular and this is irregular. The same situation. By sometime in the future, which is next year, there's gonna be 7 times that this place, the trophy was tried to be robbed or stolen. So it's future perfect. This cannot be, because remember, the future perfect is to talk about a situation that will be completed sometime in the past, in the future, sorry, in the future. And this is continuous, so it doesn't make sense if we say that continues. No, it's not an action that is in progress. And you say, letter A. Yes, don't be afraid to press the brake as the pedal and break the verb. The wedding, and in that one, you say, yes, letter C. Yes, I got it here, letter C. The wedding may well go ahead at a later date, but it will certainly no longer be this year. Notice the structure. The structure is not, maybe we're not very familiar with it because it's using a language, a very formal English, very, very, very formal, that can be used mostly in written English, but in conversational English, usually, except if it's a very formal speech, we use colloquialisms, idiomatic expressions, or informal words. So it's may well. And in this one, yes, you say what, letter A. What companies care about is money. And the last one, you say that, when you grow old, you will regret the things that you didn't do as supposed. And that's it. So for today, well, we finished with the use of English part. Now, let's move on to the listening part. In the listening part, we are going to do an exercise of, I'm going to pass you the link on the chat because you're going to be doing it. Look, I'm going to show you what I mean. This is the webpage, and I'm going to play the video of that TED Talk. It's another TED Talk. In here, you're going to fill in the missing words, but notice it's just one word per paragraph, okay? So you have to follow as you read and listen. You have to follow that TED Talk so you can write the word, okay? So I'm going to play it and I'm going to pass you the link. So in your own rhythm, you write the word and you tell me the answer when we finish listening to it. Okay, so on the chat, here is the link for the exercise. And you go, it's below the video. When you say fill in the missing words, that's the part. So everyone, please click and copy the link and paste it on your browser. In the meantime, I'm going to be turning off my camera because again, it's going to crash and cut off. So. Okay, does everyone have the page open? Yes?
Yes.
Not yet.
Okay, one more minute then. This is related to what we did yesterday, that I told you in a specific, well, as here's the listening part, to take notes on what the person was saying. It was about linguistics. So today, you're not going to be taking notes, but you can identify the vocabulary, the words they use. And yesterday, it was more scientific, like more academic. This one, it's not that formal. So it talks, like the title says, body language. So it's gonna be easier than the one yesterday. Okay, here it is. Ready, Norma? I think it was you. Yes.
Not yet, because my computer doesn't allow me to use Zoom and internet at the same time. It is like complicated, but I will write the words in a paper.
Okay. Or what you can do is move the window, like I'm doing. I don't know if you can see it. No, that I'm moving the windows. But okay, anyways, you need to listen. You don't need to watch the video, actually, just listen. So you can do it like in the link. So, okay, I'm going to play it then. And aquí está, here it is. Here it is.
So I want to start by offering you a free no-tech life hack. And all it requires of you is this, that you change your posture for 2 minutes. But before I give it away, I want to ask you to right now do a little audit of your body and what you're doing with your body. So how many of you are sort of making yourself smaller? Maybe you're hunching, crossing your legs, maybe wrapping your ankles. Sometimes we hold on to our arms like this. Sometimes we spread out. I see you. So I want you to pay attention to what you're doing right now. We're going to come back to that in a few minutes. And I'm hoping that if you sort of learn to tweak this a little bit, it could significantly change the way your life unfolds. So we're really fascinated with body language, and we're particularly interested in other people's body language. You know, we're interested in, like, you know, an awkward interaction or a smile or a contemptuous glance, or maybe a very awkward wink, or maybe even something like a handshake.
Here they are arriving at number 10, and look at this lucky policeman gets to shake hands with the President of the United States. Oh, and here comes the Prime Minister of it. No.
So a handshake, or the lack of a handshake, can have us talking for weeks and weeks and weeks, even the BBC and the New York Times. So obviously, when we think about nonverbal behavior or body language, but we call it nonverbals as social scientists, it's language. So we think about communication. When we think about communication, we think about interactions. So what is your body language communicating to me? What's mine communicating to you? And there's a lot of reason to believe that this is a valid way to look at this. So social scientists have spent a lot of time looking at the effects of our body language or other people's body language on judgments. And we make sweeping judgments and inferences from body language. And those judgments can predict really meaningful life outcomes, like who we hire or promote, who we ask out on a date. For example, Nalini Ambady, a researcher at Tufts University, shows that when people watch 30-second soundless clips of real physician-patient interactions, their judgments of the physician's niceness predict whether or not that physician will be sued. So it doesn't have to do so much with whether or not that physician was incompetent, but do we like that person and how they interacted? Even more dramatic, Alex Todorov at Princeton has shown us that judgments of political candidates' faces in just 1 second predict 70% of US Senate and gubernatorial race outcomes. And even, let's go digital, emoticons used well in online negotiations can lead you to claim more value from that negotiation. If you use them poorly, bad idea, right? So when we think of nonverbals, we think of how we judge others, how they judge us, and what the outcomes are. We tend to forget, though, the other audience that's influenced by our nonverbals, and that's ourselves. We are also influenced by our nonverbals, our thoughts and our feelings and our physiology. So what nonverbals am I talking about? I'm a social psychologist. I study prejudice, and I teach at a competitive business school. So it was inevitable that I would become interested in power dynamics. I became especially interested in nonverbal expressions of power and dominance. And what are nonverbal expressions of power and dominance? Well, this is what they are. So in the animal kingdom, they are about expanding. So you make yourself big, you stretch out, you take up space, you're basically opening up. It's about opening up. And this is true across the animal kingdom. It's not just limited to primates, and humans do the same thing. So they do this both when they have power sort of chronically, and also when they're feeling powerful in the moment. And this one is especially interesting because it really shows us how universal and old these expressions of power are. This expression, which is known as pride, Jessica Tracy has studied, she shows that people who are born with sight and people who are congenitally blind do this when they win at a physical competition. So when they cross the finish line and they won, it doesn't matter if they've never seen anyone do it, they do this. So the arms up in the V, the chin is slightly lifted. What do we do when we feel powerless? We do exactly the opposite. We close up, we wrap ourselves up, we make ourselves small. We don't want to bump into the person next to us. So again, both animals and humans do the same thing. And this is what happens when you put together high and low power. So what we tend to do when it comes to power is that we complement the other's nonverbals. So if someone's being really powerful with us, we tend to make ourselves smaller. We don't mirror them, we do the opposite of them. So I'm watching this behavior in the classroom, and what do I notice? I notice that MBA students really exhibit the full range of power nonverbal. So you have people who are like caricatures of alphas, like really coming into the room, they get right into the middle of the room before class even starts, like they really want to occupy space. When they sit down, they're sort of spread out, they raise their hands like this. You have other people who are virtually collapsing when they come in. As soon as they come in, you see it. You see it on their faces and their bodies, and they sit in their chair and they make themselves tiny, and they go like this when they raise their hand. I noticed a couple of things about this. One, you're not going to be surprised. It seems to be related to gender. So women are much more likely to do this kind of thing than men. Women feel chronically less powerful than men, so this is not surprising. But the other thing I noticed is that it also seemed to be related to the extent to which the students were participating and how well they were participating. And this is really important in the MBA classroom because participation counts for half the grade. So business schools have been struggling with this gender grade gap. You get these equally qualified women and men coming in, and then you get these differences in grades, and it seems to be partly attributable to participation. So I started to wonder, okay, so you have these people coming in like this and they're participating. Is it possible that we could get people to fake it, and would it lead them to participate more? So my main collaborator, Dana Carney, who's at Berkeley, and I really wanted to know, can you fake it till you make it? Like, can you do this just for a little while and actually experience a behavioral outcome that makes you seem more powerful? So we know that our nonverbals govern how other people think and feel about us. There's a lot of evidence, but our question really was, do our nonverbals govern how we think and feel about ourselves? There's some evidence that they do. So, for example, when we smile when we feel happy, but also when we're forced to smile by holding a pen in our teeth like this, it makes us feel happy. So it goes both ways. When it comes to power, it also goes both ways. So when you feel powerful, you're more likely to do this, but it's also possible that when you pretend to be powerful, you are more likely to actually feel powerful. So the second question really was, so we know that our minds change our bodies, but is it also true that our bodies change our minds? And when I say minds, in the case of the powerful, what am I talking about? So I'm talking about thoughts and feelings and the sort of physiological things that make up our thoughts and feelings. And in my case, that's hormones. I look at hormones. So what do the minds of the powerful versus the powerless look like? So powerful people tend to be, not surprisingly, more assertive and more confident, more optimistic. They actually feel that they're going to win even at games of chance. They also tend to be able to think more abstractly. So there are a lot of differences. They take more risks. There are a lot of differences between powerful and powerless people. Physiologically, there also are differences on two key hormones, testosterone, which is the dominance hormone, and cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So what we find is that high power alpha males in primate hierarchies have high testosterone and low cortisol. And powerful and effective leaders also have high testosterone and low cortisol. So what does that mean? When you think about power, people tended to think only about testosterone because that was about dominance. But really, power is also about how you react to stress. So do you want the high power leader that's dominant, high on testosterone, but really stress reactive? Probably not, right? You want the person who's powerful and assertive and dominant, but not very stress reactive, the person who's laid back. So we know that in primate hierarchies, if an alpha needs to take over, if an individual needs to take over an alpha role sort of suddenly, within a few days, that individual's testosterone has gone up significantly and his cortisol has dropped significantly. So we have this evidence, both that the body can shape the mind, at least at the facial level, and also that role changes can shape the mind. So what happens, okay, you take a role change, what happens if you do that at a really minimal level, like this tiny manipulation, this tiny intervention? For 2 minutes, you say, I want you to stand like this, and it's going to make you feel more powerful. So this is what we did. We decided to bring people into the lab and run a little experiment. And these people adopted for 2 minutes either high power poses or low power poses. And I'm just going to show you 5 of the poses, although they took on only 2. So here's one, couple more. This one has been dubbed the Wonder Woman by the media. Here are a couple more. So you can be standing or you can be sitting. And here are the low power poses. So you're folding up, you're making yourself small. This one is very low power. When you're touching your neck, you're really kind of protecting yourself. So this is what happens. They come in, they spit into a vial. We, for 2 minutes, say, you need to do this or this. They don't look at pictures of the poses. We don't want to prime them with the concept of power. We want them to be feeling power, right? So 2 minutes, they do this. We then ask them, how powerful do you feel on a series of items? And then we give them an opportunity to gamble. And then we take another saliva sample. That's it. That's the whole experiment. So this is what we find. Risk tolerance, which is the gambling. What we find is that when you're in the high power pose condition, 86% of you will gamble. When you're in the low power pose condition, only 60%. And that's a pretty whopping significant difference. Here's what we find on testosterone. From their baseline when they come in, high power people experience about a 20% increase. And low power people experience about a 10% decrease. So again, 2 minutes and you get these changes. Here's what you get on cortisol. High power people experience about a 25% decrease, and the low power people experience about a 15% increase. So 2 minutes lead to these hormonal changes that configure your brain to basically be either assertive, confident and comfortable, or really stress reactive, and feeling sort of shut down. And we've all had that feeling, right? So it seems that our nonverbals do govern how we think and feel about ourselves. So it's not just others, but it's also ourselves. Also, our bodies change our minds. But the next question, of course, is, can power posing for a few minutes really change your life in meaningful ways? So this is in the lab, it's this little task, it's just a couple of minutes. Where can you actually apply this, which we cared about, of course. And so we think it's really what matters, where you want to use this is evaluative situations, like social threat situations. Where are you being evaluated? Either by your friends, like for teenagers at the lunchroom table. It could be, for some people, it's speaking at a school board meeting. It might be giving a pitch or giving a talk like this or doing a job interview. We decided that the one that most people could relate to, because most people had been through, was the job interview. So we published these findings, and the media are all over it, and they say, okay, so this is what you do when you go in for the job interview, right? So we were, of course, horrified and said, oh my God, no, that's not what we meant at all, for numerous reasons. No, don't do that. Again, this is not about you talking to other people, it's you talking to yourself. What do you do before you go into a job interview? You do this. Right? You're sitting down, you're looking at your iPhone or your Android, not trying to leave anyone out. You're looking at your notes, you're hunching up, making yourself small, when really what you should be doing maybe is this, like in the bathroom, right? Do that, find 2 minutes. So that's what we want to test, okay? So we bring people into a lab and they do either higher low power poses again. They go through a very stressful job interview. It's 5 minutes long. They are being recorded. They're being judged also. And the judges are trained to give no nonverbal feedback. So they look like this. Like imagine this is the person interviewing you. So for 5 minutes, nothing. And this is worse than being heckled. People hate this. It's what Marianne LaFrance calls standing in social quicksand. So this really spikes your cortisol. So this is the job interview we put them through because we really wanted to see what happened. We then have these coders look at these tapes, 4 of them. They're blind to the hypothesis, they're blind to the conditions. They have no idea who's been posing in what pose. And they end up looking at these sets of tapes and they say, oh, we want to hire these people, all the high power posers. We don't want to hire these people. We also evaluate these people much more positively overall. But what's driving it? It's not about the content of the speech. It's about the presence that they're bringing to the speech. We also, because we rate them on all these variables related to sort of competence, like how well structured is the speech? How good is it? What are their qualifications? No effect on those things. This is what's affected, these kinds of things. People are bringing their true selves, basically. They're bringing themselves. They bring their ideas, but as themselves, with no residue over them. So this is what's driving the effect or mediating the effect. So when I tell people about this, that our bodies change our minds and our minds can change our behavior and our behavior can change our outcomes, they say to me, it feels fake, right? So I said fake it till you make it. Like, it's not me. Like, I don't want to get there and then still feel like a fraud. I don't want to feel like an imposter. I don't want to get there only to feel like I'm not supposed to be here. And that really resonated with me because I want to tell you a little story about being an imposter and feeling like I'm not supposed to be here. When I was 19, I was in a really bad car accident. I was thrown out of a car, rolled several times. I was thrown from the car and I woke up in a head injury rehab ward and I had been withdrawn from college. And I learned that my IQ had dropped by 2 standard deviations, which was very traumatic. I knew my IQ because I had identified with being smart and I had been called gifted as a child. So I'm taken out of college. I keep trying to go back. They say, you're not going to finish college. Like, just, there are other things for you to do, but that's not going to work out for you. So I really struggled with this. And I have to say, having your identity taken from you, your core identity, and for me, it was being smart, having that taken from you, there's nothing that leaves you feeling more powerless than that. So I felt entirely powerless. I worked and worked and worked, and I got lucky and worked and got lucky and worked. Eventually, I graduated from college. It took me 4 years longer than my peers. And I convinced someone, my angel advisor, Susan Fisk, to take me on. And so I ended up at Princeton and I was like, I am not supposed to be here. I am an imposter. And the night before my first year talk, and the first year talk at Princeton is a 20-minute talk to 20 people. That's it. I was so afraid of being found out the next day that I called her and said, I'm quitting. She was like, you are not quitting, because I took a gamble on you and you're staying. You're going to stay. And this is what you're going to do. You're going to fake it. You're going to do every talk that you ever get asked to do. You're just going to do it and do it and do it, even if you're terrified and just paralyzed and having an out-of-body experience until you have this moment where you say, oh my gosh, I'm doing it. Like, I have become this. I am actually doing this. So that's what I did. 5 years in grad school, a few years, I'm at Northwestern. I moved to Harvard. I'm at Harvard. I'm not really thinking about it anymore. But for a long time, I had been thinking, not supposed to be here, not supposed to be here. So at the end of my first year at Harvard, a student who had not talked in class the entire semester, who I had said, look, you got to participate or else you're going to fail, came into my office. I really didn't know her at all. And she came in totally defeated. And she said, I'm not supposed to be here. And that was the moment for me, because 2 things happened. One was that I realized, oh my gosh, I don't feel like that anymore. I don't feel that anymore, but she does. And I get that feeling. And the second was, she is supposed to be here. Like, she can fake it. She can become it. So I was like, yes, you are. You are supposed to be here. And tomorrow you're going to fake it. You're going to make yourself powerful. And, you're going to... And you're gonna go into the classroom and you are gonna give the best comment ever, you know? And she gave the best comment ever. And people turned around, they were like, oh my God, I didn't even notice her sitting there, you know? She comes back to me months later and I realized that she had not just faked it till she made it, she had actually faked it till she became it. So she had changed. And so I wanna say to you, don't fake it till you make it, fake it till you become it. You know, it's not do it enough until you actually become it and internalize. The last thing I'm going to leave you with is this: tiny tweaks can lead to big changes. So this is 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Before you go into the next stressful evaluative situation, for 2 minutes, try doing this in the elevator, in a bathroom stall, at your desk behind closed doors. That's what you want to do. Configure your brain to cope the best in that situation. Get your testosterone up, get your cortisol down. Don't leave that situation feeling like, oh, I didn't show them who I am. Leave that situation feeling like, oh, I really feel like I got to say who I am and show who I am. So I want to ask you first, you know, both to try power posing, and also I want to ask you to share this science, because this is simple. I don't have ego involved in this. Give it away, like share it with people, because the people who can use it the most are the ones with no resources and no technology and no status and no power. Give it to them because they can do it in private. They need their bodies, privacy, and 2 minutes, and it can significantly change the outcomes of their life. Thank you.
Okay, it was long, but it was pretty interesting. I liked the speech. It was pretty good. So could you write the words? Yes, no? At least a couple?
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Excellent. So I really liked it. I think it's the TED Talk that I have liked the most so far. Okay, so now let's move on to the last skill of the day. Let me share the screen. And the one that we have left is speaking. Speaking. Okay. So yesterday we did this, the self-diagnostic. Now, here it says, match the following prompts. Part 1, interview. These are questions that can be done in the interview part. Remember, the first part of this this skill in the exam is it's a individual interview. The interaction part with another candidate, and the third one is the monologue. Now, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do this one, and then we check answers. You can start. So what's number one?
I think it's C.
Yes, letter C. Subject, a school, what? Number two?
F.
F, yes. What kind of music do you like? How would you describe it to an alien? Three?
E.
Mhm. Four?
A.
A. Five?
B.
B.
And by elimination, can you tell me about
D.
technological advance? Very good. Yes, here are the answers, correct. And next part, unscramble the question. Unscramble this question, think here brings what together you people. I'm gonna give you a minute to think about it. Sorry, I was talking, I was muted. Anyone has the answer? Well, the question?
I have, well, first I wrote, what you think brings people together here? But I also think it could be what you think brings here people together. I don't know.
What you think brings what again, please? Brings
people together
here. Okay.
Here. That was my first option.
Okay, and the second option, what was it?
What you think brings, brings here people together.
What brings here people together? Anyone has another form?
Yes. What you think
what you think
is the same one, but changed here and together. That the first one. What you think brings people here together?
here together. This one brings people here.
Here, no, people here together. Like the first one you wrote, what you think brings people here together?
Here together. Okay, here together. Okay. There's a clue. You can be the comma. So in this question, there's a comma. So what you think, what brings people here together? Could be two, but there's something here about the comma that can be like this. What brings people, what people, but think, yes, the verb think, what brings people, what you think brings people together. Yes, that's true. But then the comma, I'm going to erase this. The comma, what brings together, what you think brings people together here. Yes, I think this one is correct. What you think brings here people together is because that comma. What you think brings, yes, the comma, I don't know where can it be, because yes, this is correct, but the comma, I don't know if it's
After think, what you think,
actually
comma,
what you think. Yes, that was that what is what I think. What you think brings people together here. Yes, I think this one is the best. What you think brings people together here. Yes, tricky. Now, this one is a little easier, and it says interaction phrases. And remember, one of the tips they gave us, one of the abilities to in the self-check part was to make sure how to make the other person, that the other person participates. How do you address that person in order for them to get into the conversation, get involved in the conversation? And we have in this interaction phrases. And it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 interaction phrases. And it says, okay, doesn't say the instructions, but in here they're telling us that I think is, let me see, 2 and 2. Okay. So the 8 phrases that we have here are the ones that express or are examples of paraphrasing, examples of commenting, examples of checking for understanding, asking for details, and expression for description. So I'm gonna give you 3 minutes to match them. Other thing, more than one of these categories can have, again, more than one phrase. For example, there's one actually of this that has three answers, and other ones have 2, and other ones have just 1. So I'm gonna give you 3 minutes to think about it, and then we check. And the first one, paraphrasing. Which numbers are they?
Two.
2.
Uh-huh. And there's another one. I don't know. I'm sorry, I saw it was another one. And okay, and in commenting,
7, maybe 5.
I think 6.
it's 7 and 6. Commenting. I hadn't thought of that before. Can I add something else? 6 and 7. Checking for understanding.
1,
Mhm.
3, and 4, I think.
Yes. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 3, and 4. Let me see if I understand you correctly. Do you know what I'm saying? And are you with me so far? It's like you're confirming that the other person are understanding of what you're saying. And asking for details.
8.
8.
And expression for descriptions.
5.
You're describing how something is, how something is done, etc. And well, those are the answers. Now, tomorrow, we're going to do this real practice. Talk with your partner for around 3 minutes about all these pictures mentioning what you think unites these people. Okay, I'm going to put you tomorrow, not today, into breakout rooms. Okay, and I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes, and I'll be like logging into the breakout rooms to see how you do, but tomorrow. We're not gonna have time to do so today. So tomorrow we're going to be doing that, but almost at the end, because this is the last ability we practice every day. Okay, so that will be it for today. Tomorrow is gonna be the last day, and we're going to go through reading, writing, use of English. We finished. So we're gonna be working only on reading, writing, listening, and speaking, okay? So if you don't have any questions, I will see you tomorrow at the same time. Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye.